We've docked with the Skyhold! Ready to board!
This is it, everyone. Sakura, Mr. Lotus, in the event that we don't make it back...
Don't worry about us. We know what to do. We'll keep the rub-a-dub ready. More importantly, you come back safe. Here?
And when you do, I'll have a warm bath and a hot dinner waiting for you.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. This is it, everyone. The Skyhold. Somewhere in here, Agnes is waiting for us.
And the Kaiser.
Sissa. And the ball.
Over there. That has to be where they're keeping Pope Agnes. All right, everyone. It's time to pour on the gravy. Agnes's ball-busting Avengers, move out!
We have intruders, sire.
So, they have come.
Leave them to me, Your Majesty. That's what I'm here for. The Holy Pillar is within our sights. I'll buy us the time we need.
You are certain?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I really want to see my dead... No, I really want to see my living parents. But I ain't about to shirk my duties. And besides, I'm not going to the past with my tail between my legs because of you-know-who.
Very well.
I'll leave rewriting history to you, Your Majesty. Just make sure it's a world where my parents, their lives and their deaths, count for something.
I promise, your resolve will not go for naught.
Thanks. That's a load off my mind. Now, I've got a job to do. So long, Your Majesty, and have a safe trip.
My comrades have entrusted their hopes and dreams to me. Their sacrifices will not be in vain. I will do my duty. I will deny this world and build a new one from its ashes.
This room. I recognize this room.
This is where they've been keeping Agnes.
Agnes, are you in here?
Agnes!
I'm gonna kill you dead!
Magnolia? Dead! I'm gonna kill you dead! Die, 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 die! Magnolia! What's gotten into you?
Idiot Lee, I'll make you pay for what you did to my daddy!
Huh?
I want my daddy back! Now!
Give me back my daddy! 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 What are you talking about? What's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. I'm Revenant. Revenant Grace. Revenant, son of Geist. You killed my daddy!
You're his...
My name is Revenant Grace. You killed my daddy. Prepare to die!
Magnolia, are you okay?
I am now. Idia, forgive me.
Now I get it. Don't worry, Magnolia. I know who's behind this.
Now you get it, huh? Good. Now I can really kill you. I'll do to you what you did to my daddy. I'll make you feel daddy's pain. I'm Revenant, holder of the Guardian Asterisk. I have the power to possess people. That's right. You can't beat me. I'm gonna make you kill each other. You killed my daddy. Prepare to die.
Idia, he's the son of...
Yeah, that man with the bloody robes. Or the ghost of his son? That's just an empty suit of armor.
So what? You got a problem with that? I loved my daddy and you took him away from me. Sorry now? I don't care if you're sorry. I'll never forgive you. Never, ever, ever!
You're right. I did kill your father. But I had to. He was trying to hurt my friends.
Shut up! Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! I don't care about you or your stupid friends!
Revenant, listen! Your daddy was going to kill a boy. A boy who loved his father just like you. Don't you see? I had to stop him.
I can't hear you! My daddy loved me, and I'll never see him again! I'll kill you someday, and your soul won't live on! I waited and waited for my daddy. Then the boat came, but daddy wasn't on it. Something else was. Something horrible. Before I knew it, I was dead. I waited till the end, but daddy never came back. I want my daddy! 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 But you weren't there. Something else. Something terrible was. That's how I died. I was crying and crying for you the whole time. The next thing I knew, I was in this suit of armor, and you were there beside me. You seemed nicer, happier than before. You started laughing a lot more. I wasn't so sure about this cold, clunky armor at first, but that didn't matter. You were back. I was so happy. I don't want to go to that cold, dark place again. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to disappear.
Listen to me, Revenant. These were your daddy's last words. Rev, my son, may your soul at long last be free from your father's delusions, and from the hatred and grief that has bound us both. Undo.
Daddy! Thank you, Idia, for telling me, and for listening to me. Even when Daddy and I are gone, I know someone will remember us now.
You won't disappear. The love you and your daddy shared will live on. So rest in peace, okay? It's what your daddy would have wanted.
I will. Thank you, Daddy. I love you.
To cling so desperately to his son's soul, only to let go when his own time had come. Do all fathers feel that way?
All right, everyone. This is it. We have to stop the Kaiser before he reaches the Holy Pillar.
Let's do it!
Not gonna happen, you.
What? Jan, you're alive!
And why shouldn't I be? You never killed me. You get it now? I'll keep coming back as many times as it takes. It's time to put up or shut up, you. You know what it's gonna take to stop me. The question is, do you have it in you?
All right, Jan. If that's what you really want, then come and get it!
That's more like it. Finally, you got some drive of your own. This isn't for any Kaiser or Pope, Empire or Orthodoxy. This is between me and you. Let's settle this.
Yippee! It's my time to shine!
You're a real pain in the neck, you know that? Always butting in where you're not wanted, getting in my way. Just like you did in our school days. Tick me off to no end, but I put up with you. You know why? 'Cause I thought I could use you for something. you know what really got my goat? I actually started to enjoy having you around. I started to see things different because of you.
Jen.
question my reason for being. I didn't know who I was anymore. That's why I have to do this. If I plunge my blade into our friendship, I can finally be myself again. But it won't mean anything unless you fight for real. So fight me, you! Fight like you mean it!
Jen?
Guess you had it in you after all. But this ain't a bad way to go. It feels like you cleared out this great fog. One that's been sticking to me this whole time. I owe you one. You.
Jan, be strong! Jan!
Huh? Don't you give me that look. You finally beat me. I'll be darned if I let you cry.
But...
There's nothing here worth crying over. I've got no regrets. You let me fight for something I believed in. Our beliefs pitted us against each other. But hey, them's the breaks, huh? Don't beat yourself up over it. Keep doing what you have to do.
I will, Jan. You can count on it. And thank you. You were a true friend.
There you go again. Get a move on you. And don't chicken out. Got it?
You...
Here we are, at the Kaiser's doorstep. Thank you, my friends. I could never have made it here without you.
Why so formal all of a sudden?
I just wanted to say it. Just in case... well, you know. The first time I fought the Kaiser, I couldn't do a thing. He kidnapped Agnes right before my eyes, and from there, everything fell apart. So much pain, death, suffering, and loss. All because of me. If only I could have done something then, none of this would have happened. If only I...
You... Enough of the pity party! Sure, you lost. So what? Who hasn't blown it once or twice? You've learned from your experiences. You're stronger and smarter than you were.
Idia's right. You may have lost back then, but look at how far you've come. There's no reason we can't take the Kaiser this time around.
Sir, Idia...
Like we say on the moon, bravely second.
What? Come again?
It's a literal translation of an old moon saying. You could say it means the courage to try again. If you fail the first time, summon up your courage and give it one more shot. There's no such thing as wasted effort. You can do this, you. Besides, you're not alone. You have friends to fight at your side. Don't you feel like we can accomplish anything if we do it together?
Thank you, Magnolia. My friends, you're right. And it's more than just a feeling. I know we can do this. Let's go, everyone. This is for all the gravy!
So this is the Holy Pillar, the border between worlds.
It is exactly that, Your Majesty. Bathe the compass in its divine light, and the power to transcend time is yours.
How long I have waited for this moment.
Not so fast!
So you have come to stop me, to rescue your Pope. You have overcome countless trials, as, in many ways, I hoped you would. Your strength and your courage are to be commended. But I deny it all. Blindly charging on forward will never bring about true change.
What?
Only one who knows pain and sacrifice and sin can truly forge a new era. I have paid the price and borne the sin, and today I shall change the world. Farewell, you!
Were we too late? This can't be happening. Agnes!
Too late? Oh no, you're just in time. This is where the real fun begins.
What?
Let me clue you in on a little secret. Anything touched by the Holy Pillar's light is whisked away to another world. That goes for anything, person or object, large or small. Take even, why yes, that hunk of green cheese in the sky. Oh, wondrous and beautiful first light, my brooch awaits your divine radiance. Yes, I can feel it. More! Diamante, heed my call! Bathe the moon in your light and swallow it whole! Quoi? Attendez! Qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? La lune? Mon foyer! Qu'avez-vous fait à la lune?
Magnolia, stay calm!
It must be a trick. Appleberry, do you read me? Appleberry!
You monster! What have you done?
I've done it! Yes, I've finally done it! Oh, Master, Anna has done your bidding!
It just went somewhere else, right? Tell me Magnolia's people still live!
Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know, and I don't care. The lives of a few moon units couldn't mean less to moi. This isn't a joke!
I knew you were up to no good from the start, you sick, twisted fairy!
Oh, hello. I see fire in those eyes. How do I put it? They've a strong sense of duty. Like, whatever you start, you'll always see through no matter what. You think you can defeat me? You're welcome to try.
Be strong, Magnolia.
I came to bust balls, but it seems I found a greater foe. Pack your bags, Fairy. I'm gonna send you straight to the moon.
wasn't that fun. To think you could beat me. You're stronger than you look. But I'm afraid it's too late. My duty is done. My master's long-held wish shall come to pass. This world is his. There is nothing that can't be done.
What is she talking about?
I don't know, but we need to get out of here!
To the rub-a-dub, everyone!
The moon. My home. It's gone. It's gone!
Magnolia.
I know the feeling of losing your home, but I just don't know what to say.
Oh. Wait, am I the only one who feels something odd?
I feel it too. The wind isn't blowing, and the waves and clouds are still.
It's as if time has stopped? Not quite, but something's not right.
What in the world is happening? It really is like we're frozen in time.
So it was true after all, about the moon creating night from day.
Huh? You mean it's not that the moon comes out because it's night, but the other way around?
I thought it was just a fairy tale, but no. The moon truly did shape time.
Curse it all! We had the Kaiser right there and we let him get away!
In the end, we chased him all over the world, but never got the chance to fight him. Not once!
Wait a minute. Not once?
You?
If you're out there, watching over us, hear my plea. With all we've learned, and all we've seen, bring us back to where it all began.
We meet at last. Peace, harmony, order. I deny your world and everything in it.
Stand down, Your Holiness!
Unacceptable! After untold years of strife and suffering, the Crystal Orthodoxy and the Duchy of Eternia have finally achieved our dream of peace. I will not allow anyone to stand in our way. Aren't we feisty, Pope Agnes? But, you see, we had a dream of our own. To call upon the realm's two greatest powers on this, the day of your greatest triumph, and crush you both in one satisfying swoop!
A declaration of war? So be it! The Grand Marshal of Eternia will strike you down where you stand! Ultimus, to my side!
How about you? Preposterous!
Who? What are you, fiend?
Those feeble blows won't even tickle my master. Perhaps you don't realize who you're facing. Bow down before he who will usher in a revolution. His Imperial Majesty, the Kaiser of Oblivion!
Pope Agnes, come and take your rightful place at my side. With your power, I shall deny this world.
Never! In the name of the Three Cavaliers, I shall defend Her Holiness with my life!
More courage than wits. Very well, young knight. I deny your courage with my own hand.
Bravely second!